Yeah. So we'll continue with the topic. That is, we studied what is financial services. That's a basic concept about the financial services. Now we'll go for the types of financial services. So the first type of financial services, that is merchant banking, and you might be knowing, or I think one of the team they mentioned merchant bank in their presentation. So the merchant banking is nothing but it's basically like a service rendering bank. So they provide only the services, okay, that is connected with the non-fund based services. So they are not into the fund based, but they provide the guidance or arranging the fund rather than providing them. So the functions what is performed by the merchant bank, that is called merchant banking. Okay, the functions performed by the merchant bank called merchant banking. And the service banking, so I just mentioned it's a service banking, right? So service banking concerned with providing non-fund based services. So they are not providing the money, they are not lending the money to the needy person or the required one, but instead of that they arrange the place, or they provide the assistance, that is services, to arrange the funds. Okay, like they are like a bridge between the who is the fundraiser and the fund lender. Okay, so if you want the fund, and they will connect you with the person who is having the fund. So they transfer the capital who owns it and who needs it. So they are a bridge between the person who owns the capital and who needs the capital. Okay, so that is what merchant banking. So they are not into banking fund based services, but purely they are providing the services to the person. So like they are like a bridge, or we term it as intermediaries. So now at today, or the present situations, or the present scenario, where merchant banker, they act as an institutions, because which they understand the requirement of the promoters. So the person, they think in the point of view of the promoters and the financial institutions, maybe banks, maybe stock exchange, maybe money markets. What you studied, the types of financial institutions, the think in the point of view of the money promoters as well as the these financial institutions. So SEBI rule of 1992, so they defines merchant banking as, the SEBI rule of 1992, they defines merchant bankers as any person who is engaged in the business of issue management, either by making arrangements regarding selling, buying, or subscribing to the securities, or acting as a manager, consultant, advisor, or rendering corporate advisory services in relation to such an issue management. Okay, so they may be he may be like the issue management, like where making the arrangements. So if you want to sell your product, like if you want to issue the shares, he will arrange the market, or if you want to buy the shares, he will arrange the market, like a consultant services. So he is a merchant banker as well as merchant banking. So the next concept or the topic, that is functions of merchant banking. There are main 6 functions of merchant banking in India. The first one is the management of debt and equity savings. You know what is debt as well as equity, right? So the merchant banking assist the company. So assist the company in raising the fund. So how he can raise the fund? How the company can raise the fund from the market? Either by issuing shares, either by issuing debentures, or taking the loan, selling the asset, or any other form. So how the company can raise the fund in the market. So they also focused on certain areas, like if you want to raise the shares, if you want to issue the shares, how many shares you have to issue to the public? If you want to issue the debentures, at what rate and how many, to what extent you have to raise the debentures amount. So that is nothing but instrument designing. If you want to take the loan, to what extent, at what rate. If you want to raise the issue, if you want to issue the shares, what should be the number of shares, or at what price you have to issue. And when you're issuing the share, simply you are not telling that okay, I will issue the share, you buy the shares. No, there are some documents, right? The paperwork should be done. So that registrations also done by the merchant bankers. Okay, so it is termed as offer document, the offer letter. It's like an offer letter, and that is also done by the merchant bankers. Or underwriting, like on behalf of other, I will buy the shares, but later on that shares will be sold to the some other person. Or marketing work, that this company is issuing the shares, like on behalf of you, they are going to do all the service work, like from the right beginning, the calling till the allotment. Okay, it may be issuing, like giving the advertisement, calling to buy the shares, registration work, issue work, collection work, and refunding, all the works will be done. So they will manage your shareholders fund like equities, and they also manage your long term debt. And the second one, that is placement and distribution work. So the merchant bankers, they help these companies in distributing various securities. Okay, so various securities, what we call it, the securities like various securities, like it may be equity shares, like debt instruments, or if you want to buy the mutual fund products, or if you have deposited your money in the bank or taken insurance. Okay, and it may be anything, like how you are going to distribute your funds, from where you are going to raise the fund, and how you are going to distribute the fund. So the merchant banker will help you. Okay, the merchant banker will help you, like he is assisting you how to raise the fund, as well as the availability fund ka how to distribute it. And the next one is corporate advisory services. So if you have any queries, any problems that is relating to the financial one, that is corporate sectors, we are having the problems that is relating to the finance, and they will give you the advice. And the point number 456 is, it is linked with the, or it is connected with the corporate advisory services as well as the functions. Okay, financial structuring, project advisory services, loan syndications, these are the financial corporate advisory services, and these are also the functions of merchant bankers. So corporate advisory services, like services which is provided, that is I am clearing your doubts, or if you have if you are seeking help from my side regarding any of the financial matters, and I am going to help you. Financial structuring. So you have studied debt equity ratio, gearing ratio, right? So financial structuring, that includes your debt equity ratio, the gearing ratio. Okay, and they will tell you what is your debt equity ratio, the gearing ratio. That is the client. Okay, so financial structuring, how your finance should be. It may be issuing or it may be refinancing. So they will provide you the clear cut the informations about how to raise the funds and how to invest the funds. Or if you have raised a fund which is more costlier for you, so they will give the advice of refinancing also. So first you pay the loan or the investment, or the fund which is costlier for you, and refinance it from something else. So from the cheap sources, of fund is available. Along with that, they also tell you about the risk coverage. Okay, so not only the return basis, or not only how to reduce the cost, but also the risk coverage also, because risk management is very much required. So you have lended the money to some other person, but what if that person run away or insolvent? So see, now merchant banker is not only helping the person who is in need of money, they are also helping the person who wants to lend his money. Okay, so you have to think in both point of view, and you have to answer, like you have to explain the points. So when it comes to risk management, like it may be to the person who is lending the money. So before you lend the money, you are going to do the detailed study of the person. Okay, so that is what financial structuring. And the next one is the project advisory services. So the merchant banker help their clients. Client may be any person in various stages of product project. So the project, we follow the various steps, and they will help you in each and every step. It may be right from the beginning, the ideas, how your project should be there, and from where you have to collect the fund. So whom you have to approach. It may be a documents required for that, or it may be anything. Okay, so they will help you from the initial stage of idea preparation or coming into the picture. Before coming into the picture, you have to frame the idea. Once it is done, the idea is formed, they conduct the feasibility studies. Feasibility study means whether that project is worth for me, or whether that project is having the viability, the life. And they also helps you in preparing the different documents which is required for the project. Maybe the final project report also. Okay, maybe the final project report also. And the last one is a loan syndication. So they will help you or arrange the tie-up loans for the clients. So these actually the loans take place in series of steps. Like tie-up of loans means, for example, they will connect the same classes of people where they want the funds. For example, you are searching for the fund, you are searching for the person who is going to lend you the money, and same like the other person is also doing the same work. So they will tie up these people. So the merchant bankers will prepare a detailed memorandum, the loan memorandum. Okay, so how much it is required, or loan tie-up can be taken in other form also. Like instead of approaching only one financial institution for the whole loan amount, you can approach the different financial institutions and the banks. So before approaching it, now you have to prepare the loan memorandum, means loan document, how much is required and what is the purpose and everything, the details should be there. So the loan syndication is you are syndicating, you are just bringing all the financial institutions or the different financial institutions, the banks together. Okay, that is what loan syndication. And they will prepare the memorandum, that is merchant bankers will prepare the memorandum on behalf of his client, and which will be circulated to the various banks and institutions, and they invite them to participate in the syndicate. Okay, so they are going to what we call invite the participant. They will call the banks, maybe the financial institutions, to participate in this aspect, that is loan syndication. So once they are they are clear with the things like the loan memorandum, once they go through the loan memorandum, the bank will come, they will directly talk to the clients, and they will negotiate the terms of lending the money, how the payment is to be done, what is the percentage, the documents required, the security purpose, everything. Okay, that is what loan syndication. Next one is an operation of a merchant banking. The first one is the project counseling. So project counseling services, it is rendered independently, or maybe it relates to the project finance, the financing of the project. So in the earlier you studied the functions, right? That is the project advisory services. Now it may be like project finance, which will broadly covers the counseling means you have to cover everything, each and every aspect. So it will cover the study of the project, like the detailed study of the project, and offering advisory assistance, like you're providing the assistance, the advice on the project on the basis of the report what you have received. That may be the viability of the product, viability of the project, and the steps, the procedural steps. Like directly you can't jump into the project, so you have to come across the various steps, right? So before implementations, it may be the steps for implementation. The first you may the steps like general review of the project ideas or the project profile, or advice on the aspect of how to implement the project, maybe the technical feasibility, okay, the technical matter of the project. So it may be like from the own experts or by the outsider person. Like the need not be the merchant banker will go come across these steps. Maybe the merchant banker may take the help of the other person or may independently do this type of work. Okay. Maybe selecting the technical consultancy organizations and forwarding the report to them and just asking them the feasibility of the project, or maybe any of the financial expert or the experts which are related in the finance matter, maybe the report is given to them and to come across the cost of the project or any other work which can see the pure consultancy work is done either independently by the merchant bankers or maybe it is given to the outside person. Okay. And the second one is the loan indication, what we studied just now. Okay, they will go into that aspect. And the third one is the management of capital issues. So you know that you have to manage your capital. The capital issues like managed by the merchant banker and the constituents, maybe some of the branches of them or some of the organization which is tied up with these merchant bankers. Okay, so the capital issues may be managed by the merchant bankers independently or maybe the constituent organizations, which is very much important. Maybe issuing of the, maybe the raising of the funds, raising of the capital, and how to manage it, where to invest, how to invest. The public issues of the corporate securities, where the issues can be done, the securities can be issued maybe to the new companies or maybe from the existing companies also. So, so in short, what you studied in the functions, the same thing they are operating. Okay, so they are doing the same work now. It may be right underwritings of the shares, it may be the brokering work where they will connect the persons, where they will do the banking work, but it is purely the non fund based one, or advertising, giving advertising, and it may be like auditing work. So need not be the same person. The merchant bankers, maybe the constituent one, maybe take help from the other person, like auditing work or the legal advisors. They act as a legal advisor or the registration work of the issue. So blah blah blah. It may be pre-issue management or it may be post-issue management. So pre-issue management means you have to take the approval from the you have to take approval from the stock exchange. So you have to prepare memorandum of association, articles of association that should be approved by the stock exchanges. So then going through the SEBI guidelines, because if you want to issue the shares in the market, you have to go through the SEBI guidelines because they are the regulatory body, or finalizing the appointments of advisors to the issues, the co-managers, underwriting of shares, the broker to the issues, like through whom you are going to sell the shares. There are some brokers or like maybe the bankers through issues, advertising, whom you have to get advertising, or prospectus to be prepared, or there are n number of stages or the steps you have to follow or you have to come across through, or it may be a post issue management. So make sure that your 90% of the total subscriptions has been done. So how much you have like raised, 90% is issued, or to coordinate with the issue procedures, so on. So they will look into the capital management of both pre-issues and the post-issues of the fund. And the mutual funds. So you know that mutual fund is like a special type of investment, right? Where the institutions will collect or pool the savings of different people, the individual communities, and the large amount of fund what is collected may be invested in the reputed or the blue chip companies. So when it comes to the blue chip companies, we are dealing in crores and crores, where the value of a one shares may be like in thousands. So it is not possible for the middle class people to invest the money in the blue chip company. So because you want a huge amount, or there may be a lock-in where you have to purchase minimum of so much of shares, which may cost in a lakh. So it is not able to the minimum income the person to invest in those blue chip company, but they will operate in mutual banking fund also, like so. They will assist you that which are the mutual funds you are there, and where you have to invest, in which mutual fund you have to invest, and they also have the mutual fund with where you have to going to invest in the which blue chip company. And you know that there are n number of mutual funds in the country, like Unit Trust of India, and some examples like Shriram Mutual Fund. I hope you heard about it. And there's a foreign mutual fund who is performing in India, well in India, Morgan Stanley Growth Fund. So uh, you always trust a mutual fund because they are investing small amount and they are giving a good return to you. So the next one is portfolio management. Okay. The portfolio management, you are FM students and you know what is portfolio management, right? You are investing in the different aspects. So it is defining, like you can define as where your fund, the total holding or the fund securities. So how to manage the different investment in a right way. So, if you want to enter into the portfolio management services, you need to require the certificates. You have to take the certificate from the SEBI. That is the registration you have to done. You have to do in a SEBI. That is which is mandatory. So, merchant banker, a separate registration is actually not required to act as a portfolio manager for the merchant banker, because they are providing the services, but you have to take the consent from the SEBI. That is what mentioned in the SEBI regulations. Okay, so the renewal of that portfolio manager certificate or the registration will be for 3 years. Once in 3 years, you have to do the registrations, and there will be annual fees. So, portfolio management in general, when you think in the point of view of the investor, portfolio management is nothing but it's a different avenues where you are going to invest your total money. But when it comes to the client or the institution, next one is the underwriter, and that's the last operations. Like I mentioned on the 6 months, which is like play the major role in any of the companies working. So the who is the underwriter? In general, the underwriters like will help you to help you in different aspects of your companies. Like there are different types of underwriters. Okay, so now the first one is like we'll just what is underwriting. Underwriting is a company. It may be a company or a other entity that like help you, assist you in the issuing and distribution of the securities. If you want to issue the share, so or if you want to lend the money, so they will help you, like they will give you the certified letter or the assurance letter. So like whether that company is financially like they are in the healthy position or not. So is an underwriter. Like underwriters work with the they will evaluate the risk of the particular security. For example, ABC company, they want money from you and you want to lend the money to them. Now the underwriters will assess the risk of that money lending. Like can you can you provide that 1 lakh, whether it's having the risk free or whether it's a risk, whether that ABC company is strong enough. With the help of the different ratios and the techniques, they will measure the risk of that company, the company which is taking the loan from you. Like so, they will give you the certification that yes, you can lend the money to ABC company because they are financially strong. They are in a position to repay the money. So underwriters play a major role. They are not like an agent or the broker. You are not just a broker now. You are just connecting the ABC company with the financial institution. No, but underwriters like they are having the very vital role they are playing. So there are different types of underwriters like insurance underwriter where they look into the insurance policies. For example, if I have taken the health insurance, so they will see the health risk of that person. Or there is a mortgage underwriter. If you have kept any securities as a mortgage, they like underwriter, the institutions will look into that mortgage, the value of that asset, particular asset, the ownership of the asset. So they will do the detailed inspection of that particular mortgage asset. It may be a loan underwriter. I've just given an example, right? ABC want a loan from the financial institution. So you will check the financial risk of that ABC Limited. So it may be a security underwriter where they work with the initial public offerings. You heard about the IPO, right? In the initial stage, they assess the investment risk. So like if you are issuing the shares for the first time, that is initial public offerings. So they will assess the risk of that offering. So they are the security underwriters, and there are the other different types of underwriters. Okay, so So this is the first type of financial services, that is merchant banking, and you have to study functions, operations, and meaning of that. So the remaining type of the financial service we'll see in the next video. Thank you.